Well, hello there. Welcome to 70s Daydreams, a podcast about 1970s animation. Today we're going to talk about the 1970 film, The Phantom Tollbooth. Stay tuned. Well, hello there. This is our first episode, and we are going to talk about the movie The Phantom Tollbooth from 1970. Now, quick disclaimer, I saw online that technically it was finished in 1968, but it was released in 1970, so that I'm just going to say that it makes the cut. So here I have Alder with me. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Alder Ehring. I mostly do poetic things, but I'm also here to just talk about one of my most all-time favorite movies from childhood with a dear person, Autumn. So
that's me. All right. So actually, you're the person who suggested this film, and so what about it? What speaks to you about this film?
This is one of those films for me that was just on repeat in the background all the time in childhood, and I think for me it has this Schoolhouse Rock kind of appeal to it, where like you kind of feel like you're in school, like the comforting parts of school where you're like learning and feeling really connected to the world around you and how expansive things are. But then also it has this whimsical side where, you're meeting all of these characters and you're going into these worlds, and there's the hero's journey that's a part of it as well. So, yeah.
Yes, Joseph Conrad. or Joseph Campbell.
Campbell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pardon, not Heart of Darkness. So I was definitely really sort of like the first opening sequence when he's just saying, "Oh, I'm so bored," and I was like, "Oh man, this kid this is me right now." Like he's on a whole journey of not really a journey. He just feels very stuck in life, and I feel like that's something many people, especially nowadays, can relate to. But then he goes on this journey, and he sort of by the end sort of like learns that there's more to life that he had been missing out on. I thought that was interesting. I think like the main part of it was sort of like this clash between, was it like words and numbers, and then they had to like find rhyme and reason to get back. I mean, do you want to give like a sort of brief overview of the film for those who haven't seen it?
Sure. So the film starts out with the main character, Milo, who we come into his school where he's kind of zoned out. He's bored. There's this whole musical number as he's walking home from school. He also seems kind of like a child who maybe is a little neglected. There's nobody there. There's no parents or anything like that. He comes home and he's on the phone with his friend Ralph, talking about how boring life is and how there's nothing to do ever. And a toll booth appears in his living room, which then takes him on a magical journey through several parts of a land that where he meets many characters. But the main part of the movie is that the rhyme and reason have been banished to the castle in the air, and he is intent to save them from the two brothers who are at war with each other, one in the kingdom of numbers and one in the kingdom of letters.
Yeah, so there was some really interesting sort of like wordplay that I really liked, just the way they were sort of playing with language a lot. That was something that I really appreciated, and I know the writers must have had like a really fun time just like these crazy, like almost like riddles they were talking about. And then the numbers was pretty funny too, because obviously words are very important. And I was sort of a little bit more on the word side, but then they started to show me the importance of numbers.
Yeah, and the numbers part is like this he's almost like the king of isolation, you know, he's in his tower and he's got his numbers and his math and his science, but there's something alluring about like this world that he's created for himself versus this whole kind of community that the letters has, which is you know, which has a jail and banquets and, you know, markets and all of this stuff. And at the kingdom of numbers, you come into the dodecahedron, and that's telling you you have to solve the riddles to get in, and there's something about that part. I feel like that has a pool, and I love how they do that as well. The book that the movie is based upon actually goes way deeper into like the riddles and the wordplay. And I never read that book until I was an adult. I didn't even know that it was a book until I was an adult. And the book is wild and wonderful and very different, but also like they keep that same kind of ethos and just overall like whimsy throughout both of the forms of media.
So what was it exactly? It was like the rhyme and reason were like angels or something that had been locked away.
They are the princesses.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the kings are the brothers. And so I was never really totally clear about, are they their daughters and whose daughters are they, or they're just, you know, quote, princesses.
Yeah.
It was kind of hard to figure that part out.
Yeah, but I really liked how I just thought it was like funny how like, I mean, rhyme and reason is like on the nose, but still like very, I don't know. I feel like it's like a very current sort of, you know, subject matter, you know? Also, I thought this film was a visual feast. Like the colors, so many of the sequences where like, I don't even know where to start really. Were there any scenes that really stuck out with you?
Definitely the doldrums is something that really stuck out to me. Just like the drippiness, the overall drippiness of the creatures in the doldrums, and and then also I really loved the monsters at the end too, like the terrible trivium, and just like visually how they take these concepts and they make them into like these heady concepts and make them into like a monster that he's got to fight with like a little pencil and you know, and a four. Like, very Schoolhouse Rock again, I feel. But
yeah, so the number 4 actually like it becomes like materialized, and he uses it as like a bow and arrow to shoot words at the monsters. It's very creative and fun. Yeah, and then there was just some of like the almost like layering of animation that they did was really beautiful, and a lot of sort of like abstract imagery that was, I don't know, I felt like it was very dreamlike. And I also liked how at the end they didn't cop out and say it was all a dream, because spoiler alert, he's on the phone with one of his friends, and then it turns out that the toll booth appears in his friend's room, and so it seems like his friend is about to go on this journey as well. So yeah, I like when fantasy like leans into fantasy and saying no, this is what happened.
Yeah, and I liked also how at the end, when Ralph said, "Where did you go? You were gone for 5 minutes," his friend, and he said, 5 minutes? Like, I've been gone for much longer than that. And that kind of speaks to this dreamlike state, but also just like, well, maybe the laws of physics were bended. Like, what really happened here?
I saw that I think one of the main animators or animation directors was Chuck Jones.
Yes.
He's a very familiar name for those who are into the golden age.
He did Rikki Tikki Tavi, I think, if I remember correctly, which is about that mongoose that like kills the snakes.
So yeah, this man is pretty much animation royalty, and it was kind of cool to see him do something a bit more, I guess it was like less slapstick and kind of like more heady. I don't know. It reminded me a little bit of The Last Unicorn.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
I can see that. Yeah,
which I wanted to do, but I think that's 1980
Oh,
or
no,
82
really?
or something like that. But I don't know if we ever run out of films, which I don't think we will. Maybe we can go into another decade. The Phantom Tollbooth. Yes, y'all should see it. Any last thoughts on this lovely fantasy epic?
Yeah, just like strap in. There's it's a whole ride. You're ready to go on it. I don't know. It's a great movie. I wish more people would see it. It's on YouTube for free. So you can go ahead and watch it there.
Yeah. I'm surprised I'd never heard of it. I feel like there's a lot of like incredible like animated films that I've just never heard of just because I don't know. I feel like I don't know if this is true, but it seems like a lot of the attention is towards like films from like the 2000s to now with a lot of like Pixar work, which I love, but I really enjoy the traditional animation and just sort of seeing like the vibrancy of the movement. And I mean, just the colors. I mean, like the 70s aesthetics are just very, just, I don't know, these very vibrant colors while still being, I don't know, they have like a potency to them.
Mm-hmm. And how they mix with the music too, I think is really wonderful. Like I love the soundtrack in this, except for the terrible din part. I love every song in that movie. So
they reminded me a little bit of like Charlie Brown's, like some of the movies like with the soundtrack where it's sort of like a small choir of like people just sort of like singing maybe in unison, just like these like little songs to guide you along. Kind of simple, but also very touching. I don't know, almost like a standard, like maybe like a pop standard or something. For me, it's just interesting because I'm a musician, and to that against the backdrop of everything else that was going on musically. So at the time. So I think it's sort of interesting to hear. I mean, sort of like how illustration is made. It's not just like art for art's sake. It's made to accompany something. I like my music is made to accompany something, and so it has a sort of function. And I thought it was definitely a lovely soundtrack. All right. Well, that was quite fun. Episode 1, 70s Daydreams. Tune in next time. We will talk about another film. And all right, stay groovy.